What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. What a great win for the Sixers. It wasn't the prettiest in the world. I think we all see that. It wasn't the most beautiful effort and execution offensively, but it does matter that you win. And I do feel that we are sitting here in a very awkward spot. You make a big trade, you move on from Ben Simmons, and you see one of the worst teams in the entire league. It's not easy just to go out there and just be so damn dialed in. It's a very weird position, just like Doc Rivers the other day mentioned how we are human beings, so I will give them the day off with practice. I think that mindset and that philosophy applies to playing a game tonight against such a miserable opponent who basically sucks so badly that you can shoot as poorly as you did and still win. And I will say as easily as you did, even though down the stretch, Tobias Harris had to make a crucial three, which for all you haters out there, please don't overlook the fact that that was definitely a very important shot made. I'll even throw in the Furkan Korkmaz defensively on the other side of the floor, started a huge possession right after that, which led to a Tyrese Maxey take to the basket. And then, of course, Tyrese Maxey's ability to hit that step back, the way that he plays with speed and the threat of the speed that he has definitely dictates some of these defenders making some poor decisions, which then allows for him to create separation and bang, hit a beautiful mid-range jumper. He's awesome. Now, he shot the ball very well tonight. I thought Matisse Thybulle had his fingerprints all over the place defensively, especially right there to start the second half. It was awesome. Before we continue to move forward, though, with what we just witnessed that's at the court in South Philadelphia, if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up button as well. I greatly appreciate it. If you're looking to buy tickets to go to any event, any Sixers games or anything coming up, Flyers games, you can utilize the promo code BROADS at SeatGeek's checkout page for $20 off of your purchase. It's a no-brainer. I'm helping you out. I'm giving you a $20 bill. Get yourself to a game very, very soon. And then lastly, TikTok at Broads Media. We're incorporating some fun there. And we're also incorporating some fun here over on YouTube. You can definitely call into the show. The phone lines are open, 856-442-9805. If you would love to react to what we just saw. And we have the text message board. We have the chat room going. So a lot of different ways for you to voice your opinion on the effort. And yeah, I mean, it sucked watching Joel Embiid go 1 for 7 from three somehow, some way. And it's because he's a monster and you have to foul him and the OKC Thunder blow. But he ends up having a double-double at the end of the first quarter. 19 boards, 5 blocks, worked the steal in there, a couple assists. So I put in the title of this show on YouTube that Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey lead the way, because while it wasn't this magnificent, we're just filled with awe and greatness from Joel Embiid like we've seen in so many damn games this season where he's knocking down so many mid-range jumpers and making so many threes. He did it in other ways, and he found ways to get to the free throw line. He found ways to attack with some nice Euro steps in there, if you will, and it is what it is. He was human, but his human down game is a 25-point result, 19 rebounds. And let's be realistic. There was no way in hell the Thunder were going to win this game. Was anyone actually scared when they started creeping in, made it a 6-point game, went on a big run at the end? Did you think that high school looking team with those trash uniforms were seriously going to take control enough? Now, I would have loved to see Joel Embiid not continue that 25-point streak that he's on when it comes to scoring, because the Sixers bench and the role players could consistently keep pace and run away with it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? We know that some of these players haven't played for a while. Paul Reed gets a breakaway and he doesn't even know what to do. He feels awkward. He's up in the air. He picks up his dribble. Is he trying to slam it? Is he trying to lay it up? He lost control. Now, the problem is, I guess it's not really a problem, but he was playing very well to that point. I agree with Doc Rivers wholeheartedly afterwards during the post-game press conference. He brought it up that he knows. I don't have to tell him how miserable of an attempt that was. And when you watch the replay during the broadcast, as soon as he's somewhat laughing it off, running back towards the defensive end, Doc Rivers is shown on the sidelines with his hands crossed, his arms crossed, with this just terrible look on his face, like he can't believe what he just witnessed. I couldn't believe what I just witnessed, but let's not downplay the fact that he stole the ball out of the inbound to even get himself in that position. And he brought a major block on the defensive end before that, which pushed Tyrese Maxey up with time and space, and he was able to fly down the court and kiss it off the glass for a nice, easy bucket. He made an impact for sure and made the most of his opportunity. It's just one of those where you're going to absolutely want that back. There was another weird spot that happened too. Oh yeah, it was George Niang where he went from the corner. The ball swung around a bit around the perimeter, got to him in the corner, and then he pushes towards the basket. He wants to slam it, but he ends up losing possession. I don't know if the defender got a piece of it. It went in anyway, and you could see Danny Green somewhat laughing and dapping him up as he went to the free throw line. You didn't draw it up that way, my friend. Okay, you wanted to power it down. You just couldn't. No one could really do much today other than Maxey shot the ball efficiently. One of those nights. I mean, they scored 100 points and won this basketball game. It's 2022. They scored 100 points and somehow won. Now, you look at Tobias with 3 blocks. You look at Embiid with 5 blocks. You look at Paul Reed being disruptive, Matisse Thybulle. That sequence at the start of the second half, he steals the basketball, takes it to the basket. Then he's somewhat playing a safety role. If you think about football, you can see he knows 5 seconds in advance that he's definitely going to take a step forward and pick that off. And he did, which eventually ended up going to Joel Embiid, who passed it to Tyrese Maxey in transition, no hesitation. I'm going to let it fly, which was just outrageous from him. I love watching Tyrese Maxey, and I can't wait to see how he's going to work together with everybody else. James Harden specifically is what I mean. Everybody else when James Harden comes to town and is involved. And Doc Rivers spoke pregame about the fact that we have so many options to basically, and I'm paraphrasing a bit, but when it comes to staggering, which is what we've been pretty much dissecting every single damn game, it seems, out of Doc Rivers. He claims there's so many options and there's so many things that you can do with Joel, with Harden, with Maxey, with Tobias. Okay, Doc, you better stay true to that. You better keep it that way then. Don't be bullshitting us and just pretending and giving us lip service, if you will. We know you already have it now, and somehow, someway you fail horribly and you crush this basketball team more than you need to. I mean, you never need to, but you shoot this team in the foot way too damn much because of your poor rotations. I know adding James Harden changes a lot. It really does. But you can still use that logic, use that mentality with what you have now as well. You just elect to not. All right, Doc, you said it. You said it before James Harden even showed up in this damn city. So you better keep it that way. Let's see it. That you said it. It's there. It's set in stone. You better keep it that way, Doc. He also touched on Tyrese Maxey starting. So when we broke down what could they do, could they slide him to the 6th man role and maybe come off the bench to provide some scoring in that capacity? Well, maybe we have a Harden, a Maxey, a Green, or Thybulle at the 3, a Tobias, and an Embiid. But then, of course, you need to find a way to provide some sort of spark off the bench. It ain't going to be Shake Milton. Now, I'm not going to tell you he's never going to have a good game because his first game back from a significant injury, he shot the ball poorly and had, a rough day at the office, if you will. But I'm done putting my eggs in the Shake Milton basket. He's been in this league for a little bit of time now, and whether it's injuries that don't allow him to take that next step in his career, or if it's just the lack of consistency, I don't know what to tell you. But at this point, right, we keep talking about Shake, and Shake can have a game. It's not like Shake can't have a game. The one that sticks out is the game against the LA Clippers last year. Was it the year before? I forget. All these years are kind of somewhat snowballing into one another, but we've seen him have a dominant performance. He's done it, and He can. It's not impossible. I'm talking about, though, a playoff run, a guy off the bench that I can count on and say, yes, you go put the ball in your hands and let's let it rock. Now, that goes hand in hand with what Doc Rivers was saying about the rotations and things of that nature, of course. We'll see. We'll see how they all like to do it. There's a buyout market. He touched on Paul Millsap as well, thinking about the 5 position. I can't wait to see James Harden, though, in this jersey. Apparently, they showed a highlight video or some sort of video of James Harden in the building tonight. I saw a couple people that I know take a video of the Jumbotron when that happened, and the place erupted like no other. And the place lost its marbles, as it should. I mean, you kidding me? You see James Harden on the Jumbotron, you go, yeah, that's our guy. Wait a second, that's our guy? And I find it so comical that we sit here and we listen to the national media rip apart the Sixers and go, how come you're not getting rid of Ben Simmons? It's been long enough. Trade Ben Simmons already. Go bring somebody else in. He's a headache. He's a problem. He's costing your franchise. Make a damn move. Then they make the move, and then we hear those same people say, you got James Harden. You gave up too much. You gave these people, the Brooklyn Nets, that is, Ben Simmons and Seth Curry and Andre Drummond, everything they're looking for. You messed up, and it's like, hold on a second. Which way do you want it? You can't have it both ways. Scream for 4 months that they have to get rid of him. Then they do and acquire James Harden. And then it doesn't satisfy you. And that's not good enough. What would you rather have? Please let me know. It doesn't make any sense. I would love to know the logic behind all of that. Please inform me. Don't forget, the phone lines are open at 856-442-9805 if you would like to hop on board and share your thoughts on what we just saw on the floor. We do have some text messages here and the chat as well, but I'll throw this in. Jason texted in, Broads, what was that Paul Reed attempt? Ha, 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 ha. That was the highlight of my week. Too funny. I don't know if I'm going to go to the point of it was the highlight of my week, but it's hard to not laugh. I had plenty of funny moments in my hockey career. I ended up going in a shootout attempt, and believe it or not, as a stay-at-home defenseman with not a lot of goal-scoring ability, for some reason I was able to do a good job in shootouts and deking the goalies, and we played a game and I had a chance, and here I am coming down doing my thing, and I fell completely right into the netminder 1-2 inches away from the blue paint as I was going to go backhand top shelf, forehand backhand top shelf, like I was doing my thing, and I fell completely. You just shake it off, you laugh at it, you move on, right? It's a different feeling for us because, one, they won the basketball game. Two, Paul Reed actually did make some spark and did have a solid game all around. You know, he made some impact plays. He made some high energy moments at the same time. So, you know, it's a lot easier to swallow it when your team wins the game. I'm just saying, I've been there before where you do your job, you do what you're asked to do. The boys love you. They're hyped up for you. They know, you know, you've been waiting for another opportunity. And when you do get it, it's rare. So you got to make the most of it. And 98% of the game, you know, you get that check mark from the head coach and you get that round of applause. And then the one moment, it makes it a little bit easier to sleep at night, if you will. But I guess if you're Jason, to say it's the highlight of my week, maybe a little slow week for Jason, if you will. No? Let's get to what I heard today on the Mike Missinelli show with Stephen A. Smith and Charles Barkley. Both of these two individuals are not so fond of the deal of what happened this last trade deadline, as if this was months ago and we forgot. No, it was a couple days ago and we lost our damn mind over it, as we should have. Okay, so Stephen A. Smith was his first guest, and Stephen A. Smith said the deal is fine. The 76ers are better now than they were before the deal was made. Okay, well then hold on a second. Why would you then be angry, Stephen A.? His rationale was because you gave the Brooklyn Nets those players. Anyone else, and not someone in your conference, not someone you're going to be competing with, that's a horrible move if you're Daryl Morey and you're reaching. If that's how you feel you're reaching, okay, I understand that you're giving a team that has Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving sometimes due to his vaccination status, a player like Ben Simmons who doesn't need to be a number 2 guy and can play a different role for them, and they can succeed based off of his role if Kevin Durant and Kyrie have enough firepower to work in the half-court set like Ben Simmons could. Ben Simmons, we talk about his playmaking ability and the way that he can find his open teammates and all. Majority of the time, that's in the open floor. James Harden with those 10 assists that people just keep overlooking and devaluing and not really finding the pure greatness of. A lot of that is in the half-court set and creating off the dribble, maybe getting some separation, and his ability to shoot the ball at a high rate like he does. It opens up just based off of his counter to that and how players elect to defend him. But you got to think about yourself. Did you get better? If you start focusing about what these other teams are getting, you have a player who's unhappy, a backup center that's going to be walking at the end of the year anyway, and then a nice player in Seth Curry, a nice starting player. And yes, it fits their role. It fits what they're looking for in Brooklyn due to Joe Harris going down. But you got to worry about the 76ers. That's what you need to take care of. If you're Daryl Morey, I'm not saying you just completely throw it out the trash to see what is going on around the league and study what other teams are doing and the acquisitions they're bringing in. Of course. But did the 76ers get better? They went from not having a chance to being able to compete with other teams. I don't think they're better than Milwaukee. I don't think they're better than Milwaukee. I don't know where they stand against the Brooklyn Nets or some of these other teams. Okay, I put them in that upper echelon of the Eastern Conference. I don't know if they're as good as the Milwaukee Bucks, but this move isn't just a back end of the season. You have 20 or 30 games to make something happen, and that's it. That's not what this is about. You have the opportunity here for a good 3-year window to take a step with James Harden and Embiid, and Daryl Morey still has work to do. This isn't a finished product. You're closer now than you were before you made the trade. Before you made the trade, you had zippo chance. Now, you actually do have a chance. You have a chance. I'm not telling you it's the greatest chance in the entire universe. You have a chance. Charles Barkley brought up that now it's going to be harder for Tobias Harris. Charles, how is it harder for Tobias Harris? Well, he's going to lose shots, so then when he gets the basketball, he's going to try and force a ton. And he's going to constantly try and take it to the rack or take ill-advised shots because James Harden and Joel Embiid are going to be trying to force feed one another and put up X amount and score X amount. You're just reaching at that point. Like, if you're now making excuses that this is awful, you're trying to find a certain narrative to make you sound like you are right in that spot where you think like, hey, this isn't as good. I'm fascinated to see it. I don't understand how anyone can then now look at this team and say Tobias having a smaller role, and this is no shot at Tobias, but if it's James Harden, Joel Embiid, Maxey, and Tobias as a combination of a third option, depending on the night, 3A, 3B type of thing, just who has it that night. Maybe some nights Maxey has it, or some night Maxey's a little bit slow to start off. Tobias carries the weight for 3 quarters, but Maxey is that third option in the fourth quarter because he explodes and finds his rhythm. To think that this is going to hurt Tobias Harris, I just find that so hard to believe. The less stress and the less that he has to do is honestly better for Tobias Harris. How can James Harden and his ability to pass the ball and work and create in the half-court set be something that could be painful for Tobias Harris? To me, that is absolutely bonkers, and I don't believe it at all. Another point Charles Barkley made is the fact that the best players have to change their game. Joel has to accommodate for James. James has to accommodate for Joel. there's legitimacy to that. No doubt about it. I won't argue that, and I won't downplay that at all. I think that that's fair to say, and that's why I tell you that it's going to take time. It's not the easiest thing in the world. When the Sixers acquired Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris in the same season, it didn't happen overnight. It takes time to kind of learn one another, and there's chemistry for a reason. So absolutely, but to think that they can't figure it out ever, and when you put two talented players that can play at this high of a level together, that they're never going to figure it out, I'll take my chance. Now, you could say that Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant didn't work out, and there's only one basketball to go around. I don't see that as the same thing as a center in Embiid and a point guard in James Harden, and just those two working together. I don't see that being the same as what KD provides, what Kyrie provides as a natural point guard, and then James Harden on where he's at right now in his career. Those are two totally different scenarios, in my opinion. We'll go back to the Anytime Hotline, and in just one moment, we have some more text messages here. But first, let me tell you about DeSimone Jewelers. They are my jewelers. Valentine's Day is coming up, fellas. It's literally right around the corner. If you haven't got your special someone something amazing yet, DeSimone Jewelers is the place to go. They're a family-owned business located in Haddonfield, New Jersey, previously in Jewelers Row. Will, Lou, Nick, and Mike, they treat you like family. They work with you to get the best design at the most reasonable price you will find in the entire market. They provide custom jewelry design, jewelry repairs, appraisals, watch repairs, battery replacement, diamond setting, and so much more. If you tell them that Broad sent you, they will hook you up like no other. DeSimoneJewelers.com is down below in the description. That is the phone number. Definitely check it out without a doubt. And let's real quickly, we got a donation coming in from Mullet Petition for Alvarado. Stephen A. Do anything. Also, Stephen A. Not that. I like Stephen A. Stephen A. is good people. I think Stephen A. is good people. He's not one of those talking heads that I despise. Now he goes over the top and, he's goofy. And here I am ripping him just because, I don't agree with his take. And he kept walking around in circles whenever he was pushed on his thoughts. But ultimately, I respect Stephen A. Smith, and he's someone that deserves a lot of respect for sure. Thank you so much for the donation. Wade coming in with a $2.79 donation. Would you rather see the Raps or the Cavaliers in round one? I would say maybe I'm not fully believing the Cavaliers yet. I don't feel that strongly about them. The Raptors with Nick Nurse has always given them a little bit of trouble, if you will. I don't think the Cavs are. I'll say the Cavs. I think they're a good team. I don't know. Maybe the Raptors. Yeah, I'd say the Raptors. The Raptors. I know you're kind of throwing me into a hypothetical right here without really thinking about it. Forget. I don't want the Cavs. I'd rather take the Raptors. I don't believe in the Cavs because you gotta have experience in this league. I truly believe experience goes a long, long way, and there is some experience on the Raptors and Nick Nurse and things of that nature. But give me the Raptors this season over the Cavaliers, who are playing with some burst and some energy for sure. That's kind of what I will say about that. But let's rock with some more Anytime Hotline text messages here. These are flying in throughout the show. How about this? This is from a Brody. Obviously, my last name is Brody. I go by Broads. But we got a text message here from Brody. I think I have to think about Doc when leads get lost like they did. I just do. Tobias hit a three-pointer, and Maxey followed that up nicely. The young kid's step back is becoming a dynamic piece to his game. I am excited to think about how he will learn from the everyday of James Harden. I like that too. I don't know if that scares people. I know that there's a lot of people out there that are afraid of James Harden because he's a quitter and maybe doesn't like his teammates in Houston and the way that he handled things in Brooklyn. Maybe he's a bad guy, I guess, but I don't really see it that way. There's things that maybe I don't necessarily love fully that some of these athletes go through to get out of town when they are unhappy, whether it's James Harden's hamstring or it's anything else. I'm not telling you I fully love it and I'm sitting here giving them a round of applause for it, but there's something to be said about how skilled James Harden is. James Harden is one of the most elite players the NBA has seen. Is he 27? No, he's not 27. He's not 28. He's not at that point in his career right now. But with Tyrese Maxey basically opening up his arms to everyone in the damn NBA saying, like, I'm going to learn from you. This is what it's all about. Here we are. Let's have at it. I want to learn so damn much, and I'm willing to put my head down and soak in everything. Like, you're telling me that James Harden isn't going to teach this young kid? James Harden's smart. A lot of these basketball players are very intelligent. They know when someone has the skill level. They can tell, oh, damn, this kid's going to be a dog. This kid has so much to learn, and I can't wait to see him blossom because there's something to his craft. And, oh, by the way, there's something to his dedication. And, oh, by the way, the buy-in level and how willing he is at such a young age to be coached is magnificent. Everyone can sniff that from Tyrese Maxey. I can do it from 7,000 feet away, 10 billion feet away. James Harden's going to recognize that within moments and realize that that's going to put us in a good position to succeed if we continue to mold him. That, yeah, James Harden working with Tyrese Maxey every day, pushing him. So you get Joel Embiid pushing him at an elite pace. Now factor in Doc Rivers and a James Harden. And by the way, I didn't know this. I heard Ramona Shelburne talk about it, that Doc Rivers and James Harden, they've tried to link up in the past. James Harden specifically trying to be coached and be able to have an opportunity to play under Doc Rivers. That was something that they've tried to happen before in the past. And we'll go to another text message here. And this is from Tyson. Are you as upset as I am? Why won't the Sixers go wire to wire in a breeze? Joel relaxing on the bench. I've heard other texters and callers mention this too. Joel has so much pressure all the time. Is it just too much to ask for a damn full fourth quarter so Joel can do nothing? They showed a clip of him flexing his wrist. Rest, please. Yeah, that is not great to see. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he was kind of flexing his wrist and putting it in circles kind of to see, I guess, how he feels, the durability of it and all. I mean, I don't think that that's stopping him by any means or something that's going to slow him down at this point. It seems Joel is being the Joel Embiid that we anticipate regardless of any sort of risk. And that's not the first time I've heard this, Tyson. It is something that consistently is brought up. And I mean, I didn't love it. I didn't love seeing that happen. I wasn't fearful of the loss. I just look at that OKC team and I go, there's really nobody there who's going to finish the job. They don't have closers that they can rely on to really go toe for toe when it's all said and done, even though they did creep into a 6-point game, right? I mean, it was double digits. It gets to 6. Tobias hits the 3. Maxey with a couple buckets there. They have, you see the difference, right? They have guys who have the ability to. OKC doesn't. It's not the most satisfying feeling in the world, though, to know. I chalk this one up, and it's kind of how I open the show, and maybe this is sort of how we'll wind things down. But Doc Rivers specifically mentioned that he canceled practice because there's a human element to the trade deadline. Tobias Harris with a big sigh of relief, talking about how he can nap after that 3:05 time kind of ended and all the reports were done coming out for the day. And he recognized it. Okay, I'm going to be here in Philadelphia. And you know that James Harden's coming to town soon and he's not there yet. So you have a major hole that you kind of have the goosebumps for and the chills for because you know what type of special player James Harden is, and Paul Millsap as well. Your rotations are a bit funky because you lose Andre Drummond. You don't have Seth Curry. Furkan Korkmaz gets the start, right? All of these variables are factoring in, and it's hard to just act like it's a normal day at the office. Now, they're paid to go play basketball and hold themselves accountable and go win, and they did just that. They squeezed by, they escaped, however you want to label it. They handled business. They did what they needed to do. They did enough to beat a team that stinks in this league. But I have to throw in there that it is a very, very emotional time for what they've just went through and trading Ben Simmons. And you see George Niang say thank you to Seth and Andre. You see Tobias Harris say shout out to those two guys. And there's one guy who just consistently gets left out. And it's pretty interesting to say the least to kind of see that. But I think that's where we're going to kind of shut things down right here on this episode of Sports Talk with Broads. I want to thank everybody hanging out in the chat. We got a $2 donation from Philly fans in Florida. Broads, love all you do. Any ideas for a buyout? I hope it's the Dragics of the world. I mean, we kind of have an idea of the style of player that, we see every single year in the buyout market. There's some guys that got traded for, and maybe you can still hope and pray that they become one of those players as the time comes out. I would think maybe a guard that they can rely on off the bench that is a veteran player with some experience. I wonder how they view that backup position. Is it Charles Bassey they love? Is it Paul Reed they love? Is it a come on, big brain fart here. Just pick them up. Paul Millsap. What do they do? I'm not necessarily sure how they're going to approach it. So I don't know what type of body, but we all understand the logic behind what type of players they're going to pick up in that circumstance. I want to thank everyone who texted into the Anytime Hotline. That's still going to be a huge part of the show. Whether you want to call in, text in, the Anytime Hotline's always going to be available for the people. We are going to start implementing live calls throughout. So I just want to make that clear. We will start doing a little bit more live calls post-game. That is on the table, but you can also text. You can also do your voicemails. We're still kind of trying to, just get accustomed to that lifestyle. Some more donations coming in. Mullet petition for Alvarado. Big beard energy. I saw this interesting take that James Harden should maybe shave his beard, start fresh, new identity coming into town into Philadelphia. That would be fascinating. I'm not against it, honestly, but it's also iconic and a big part of who he is at the same time. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening, for hopping in, for chatting, for Anytime Hotline text, for donations, you name it. Thank you guys so much. A back-to-back tomorrow. Back-to-back, you got the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's go. We will be doing it and having the same situation tomorrow post-game. So I will see you all there. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you